Mental illness can be very lonely, very, very lonely. The aloneness I felt going through schizophrenia, even if I had friends and family around, it was it was really, really bad. An aloneness that I'd never felt before. The first 20 years of my life when I was healthy, I would feel lonely sometimes, or I would technically be alone. But oh my gosh, the aloneness is really bad. Something happened though, and it was probably after maybe 10 years, oh, maybe 8 years after into my recovery, over a 27-year recovery that it took me to get through my disease of schizophrenia. And it only happened once. It happened for just probably a couple hours, and it was just wonderful. I was in a group of people, maybe 8 people, let's say, and we were watching TV. And then all of a sudden, and these are people I was playing, it's a team sport. We were just in a break between games in the lounge watching TV. We were talking, and then all of a sudden, the group of us just stopped talking. And the feeling that came over me was quite something. A counselor told me years ago that people who've been abused find comfort in being in a group of people and not feeling the need to talk, the being sort of having to be forced to talk, to forced to say something, to always be on the spot. They say they can find great comfort in just sitting there alone with everyone not talking. And it lasted for a couple hours. It hit me, and I don't know how long we weren't talking for. Maybe I don't know, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. But it triggered some chemicals in me, some hormones, whatever was happening, brain, neurons, I don't know. And it really lowered my pain, my mental anguish, my anxiety, my depression, my schizophrenia, my psychosis, whatever was going on in my head. It lessened the pain. It was very, very comforting. It still didn't take all my pain away. It didn't cure me by any means, but it was a great lessening of the pain. After that, we went over to a friend's house, and a bunch of us just hanging out, and other people had started talking. But whatever kicked in was still happening, and I just sat there on the couch. In fact, I remember someone saying, "Holy cow! How can Matthew just sit on the couch or be asleep on the couch with all these people around?" I wasn't technically asleep, but I was pretty dozy because it was just such a stress relief, and I hadn't had that in, like I said, like probably 8 years, 8 maybe 9 years, whatever it was. Yeah, it was a real break for me. And so I encourage you, if you know other people with schizophrenia or mental illness, you don't have to make a big deal about this. I mean, for me, I didn't even know that could happen. And it never happened again throughout my 27 years of recovery. The situation just never happened. And with me with schizophrenia, and I've heard other people with mental illness can be the same, other types of mental illness. For me, it was hard to take charge of a situation and say, look, this is what we're going to do. This is what helps me. In some ways, I could ask for that. In other ways, I couldn't. You really, I really got a feeling of just being lying in the gutter, helpless, praying for someone to help me, and just lying there helpless and unable to take charge of my situation. In some ways, I could take charge. I could do things. I could make decisions and do things throughout my day. But in other ways, I couldn't. So, if you know someone with schizophrenia or mental illness, try not. You don't have to make a big deal about this. Just say something like, and they may not even know this about themselves, that they would find comfort being in a group of people, not having to say anything. Just say, look, just tell them you saw this guy on YouTube and he was talking about this or something, and just see if that works. Maybe it might not work for people. I mean, some people like to be chatty. Some people aren't comfortable with silence. It may not work, but just ask them. Uh, just sit there with a group of people and not say anything. It's think of it as these silence retreats you can go on, where you can be in a group of people for like 24 hours or a week or however long they last, and never saying one word to each other. It helps you appreciate each other more, and it's sort of maybe it's something like that. I don't know, but anything. I wished I could have bottled that feeling and had it with me for the rest of my recovery. I think sometimes, if I had that lowering of pain, lowering of that stress, would I have recovered sooner? I have no idea. No idea at all. But maybe, at the very least, it would have made my 27 years of recovery easier. But yeah. Anyway, it's that's my suggestion. Maybe try bringing that up with someone you know and trying it out. Maybe, it made a world of difference to me. Maybe it can mean a world of difference to someone you know.